Hello Aquarius, welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. So Aquarius, before I started your reading, I just felt like this really deep energy pulling me in. And it was really interesting because my ears popped. And as I was breathing, like my ears, or they sort of, it's not like they pop, it's like they pop to muffle, not pop to clear. And as I was breathing through my nose and that, it sounded so much like when I was younger and I used to spend a lot of time snorkeling, and I would just lay under the surface of the water and close my eyes, and just, you can hear your own breathing through the snorkel, the tube, and you're just floating in the water, like just floating in the water. It's just a really intense feeling. It's funny because you say, I use intense to describe it, like a really intense feeling of just being, you know, and doing nothing else and just existing. And every sense, though, is connected in the water because every part of you is being touched by this fluid substance. And everything outside, beyond the water, like you really can't hear that. And if you do, it's really muffled, and all you can really hear is your own breath. It's really kind of a deep feeling as I come into your reading. And there's a sense of wanting to kind of sit with it too. So maybe even this message, whatever it ends up being, something that you'll just sit with. So I'm going to use, I've got my Goddess Wisdom Oracle deck, compassion. Maybe that is feeling compassion. Ah, there's a depth to your energy right now. It's like ethereal and cosmic and far, but yet it's also really close and present and like in an experience that you can quickly and easily recall, like I just did. But it's not really an experience that I would have any other reason to recall, except that something just kind of, the way my breath, how you breathe. Notice how you're breathing. If you're breathing shallow, it's you're allowing yourself to feel small. If you recognize that and you start taking deeper breaths, you can see yourself expanding again. Maybe you're taking small breaths and feeling small. Take that deep breath and feel like you're part of something so much bigger. So I've also combined my Wizards and my Everyday Witch decks. I don't think I've ever combined them before. I've combined the Wizards deck with a Steampunk Tarot, but never the Wizards with the witches. So I like it. I like it, it's fun. So what is this gonna be? What do the goddesses want to talk to you about? Really gravitating to the goddesses. I felt a lot of intense energy with that full moon eclipse. I actually feel like I'm touching things that I haven't touched before. It was kind of a profound, I guess, energy for me, because my Lilith is in Scorpio and my moon is in Taurus. And I found myself looking at the moon and just being completely captivated, almost like a deer in headlights, like not being able to look away. It was a really strong experience. What do the goddesses want to talk to you about, Aquarius? Healing. I feel like the breath is so important in that, Aquarius. Healing. Every time you're feeling small, your breath is compressed. It's short. It's quick. Recognize this in yourself. Take deeper breaths and imagine, not just imagine, no, feel. Acknowledge yourself expanding. Oh, I love it. Morrigan, death and magic at the bottom. That's very much the eclipse energy that I feel like we're coming out of. Healing. Let's talk about healing, Aquarius. Healing with death and magic. That's the best kind of healing. That's the kind of healing that goes in deep. You know, one of the things that's really sad that I had seen on a news article is what I would describe as the collapse of, you know, how we look after one another. And a lot of elderly people in hospitals around where I am here, and I imagine it might be something happening in many places, they're dying of bed wounds, bed sores. It's like that should be so 1800s, you know, because nobody's taking the time to look after them. And I always picture like healing, you know, a bed sore is not something that you can allow it to heal from the outside, like get a scab. That has got to heal from the inside out. It kind of feels like, you know, Aquarius too with this reading, the age that we are moving towards, and I know some people say we're in it. We're not actually in the age of Aquarius. I think it's still, it's a little under less than 200 years away. But we are moving towards that, and we can feel the shifts. And just the humanitarian aspect with Aquarius. Don't forget about the small things, Aquarius. And I'm not really looking at the camera today because I have a very profound sky scene of clouds moving by. And it's sort of just allowing me to channel a lot of your message. I feel like you have big goals, Aquarius. And some of these goals are meant to really help humanity on a larger scale. But if I think about like a nurse, many of them are very overworked, exhausted, depleted. Many have walked away. But those that are still there, and we're talking about healing, and it's just reminding me of your energy. That envisioning so many to care for, but at the end of the day, somebody just needs to be rolled over on their side. You know, like it's a very tiny, simple thing, but that makes all the difference in the world. Because when all of the little things aren't looked after, the bigger thing collapses. And your breath is the first point in that. If you're feeling overwhelmed, your breath might become quick and agitated. Take a moment to breathe and recognize what's really important. you have the Tower at the bottom. I choked on my own spit. I'm good at that. You have the Seven of Swords, followed by the Devil, and then the Six of Swords. Underneath the Seven of Swords is the Moon. Underneath the Devil is the World. And underneath the Six of Swords is the Six of Pentacles. Aquarius. Aquarius. I feel like, my friends, you have been working on something here. You have been working on something. You have been recognizing the small things. The small things that keep everything else standing, right? It's really interesting tower because it's not the entire tower that's coming down. It's just something at the top end of it. It's as if there's a really powerful structure around you that you have already created. You know what I see here? Yeah. Is, it's like you've made something big and you've made something important. That could be something outside of yourself. It definitely feels like you. And whether that is also showing up as things around you that you're creating, relationships, ideas, projects. This is so valuable and important that you will lop off the top. You will lop off the top because this is solid. If anything that grows above this is not, it could affect the balance of this. Striking down. So you will take short-term losses for a long-term gain here. This tower needs to continue to grow in the same way that it was created. There's something here that I feel you have witnessed, either witnessed within yourself, and you've done it in a very secretive way. It's like going down into the dungeon with the devil. So, like, look at these cards, right? He's going down into the dungeon. And then, like, followed by this moon and this giant spider and all these fears and illusions. Right? Especially with Morrigan. I would describe this as someone who has, like, looked deeply within themselves at the deepest parts and almost, like, bid a farewell to yourself, to a part of you, who you were. There's a foundation here that's staying, though. There's a foundation to you that's staying. But it's almost like something that you were recently, or somehow you were recently building your path, building a future, building yourself. This had to come off. Just like flick it right off. And you're saying goodbye to the devil. Adios, amigos. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye, my friend. And I can see you calling the devil your friend here. Because it's like, this is the one friend that'll show you the nastiest parts about yourself. And do it in a way that there's no getting around it. Like, the devil will manipulate it. The devil will carve a path for you to see it. This is the kind of friend that when you look like shit, he's going to tell you look like shit. Look at you, you're such a piece of shit. You look like shit. And then I'm going to go down and I'm going to think about how much I look like a piece of shit. Because the devil said I look like a piece of shit. I don't know what you discovered in that, but you discovered something and you said, adios, amigos. But I don't know how you say adios, amigos to the devil without, this is successful completion. So you looked at something in probably a very profound way. And now you're on the road to equality, to balance, shifting. Now, wherever you sit in this timeline, maybe you're sitting in this, you're like still healing and working through this. Maybe there's some stuff that you've kind of created recently in your life. You're thinking, geez, do I want to let that go? Do I want to eliminate that? I invested in that. The thing is, if it looks like shit, if it feels like shit, and you keep investing in it, it's just going to keep making shit, right? You're just going to keep making shit. This is a really different reading. This is the first reading I've done since that eclipse. And I don't know if it's just you that I'm picking up this kind of different type of energy, or it's just a shift in me, and this is the kind of stuff I'm going to dig out for you. But with the Six of Swords and the Six of Pentacles, after completing all the things that you've hidden from, here, with the Seven of Swords and the Moon and the Devil, like, you could not really go into a deeper area of gooky self-reflection, gooky, and then come out on the other side in balance, like it's beautiful balance. The Seven of Swords. The Queen of Swords. Boy, talk about a deep look, a deep dive. The Moon. The Four of Swords. Oh man, Aquarius, guys, my friends. This is good energy. If you're on the path, you're getting there because you're healing. You're healing all your fears. Wherever you are, it's because the world comes up next. So you've healed it if you follow this path. So you're healing it. You've healed it. You've successfully completed. Perhaps even things within your mind that you convince yourself of with these swords. Your mind is healed here. You know what's, okay, this is interesting. I just watched it last night. It's just a short thing on Netflix. It's kind of like a little bit hokey in spots, but it can, you know, it's based on a Stephen King novel. And he's one of those authors where it can be tricky sometimes to portray what you read from him and what can be created in your mind and put that on the screen and it not always be a little bit hokey. I mean, there's lots of his stuff that is successfully done, but sometimes it's on the verge of that, right? He's such a master of fear and illusion that transforming that into what you can just see in front of you, which is even what I'm talking about here, can be tricky, you know, because that's what I'm saying here. Like what you've dove into here is not something that a lot of people would dive into and even be able to see it for its own value. But I can't remember, it was The Haunting, or something like that. John Cusack starred in it. And Samuel L. Jackson was in it too. So, you know, I can't remember what it's called. But he basically goes into this hotel room that's supposed to be like evil and extremely haunted. And the illusions that play out in front of him are just like, whoa, mind-blowing. And you try to think to yourself, like, how do you react through this Or how do you not react through this? How do you get through this? How do you get to the other side of this? It's really like, it's funny because it's coming up here with all of this, like moon and Seven of Swords and Devil. It's like coming out of that hotel room, coming out of room 1408, where it would be assumed is the 13th floor because it goes from 12 to 14. And 1408 breaks down into a 13. If you add those together, you get a 4. Healing, stability. And then you move right into balance. The Devil. Wow, the High Priestess in the World card. If there's things here that were meant for you to see and you haven't been able to see them, you have fought through, I want to say, probably the strongest illusions. Look at this repeat with the Devil. You're locked up the key. The Devil's, I don't even know how to describe it. It's beyond even like locking him behind the door and throwing away the key and putting it in the ocean and draining the ocean and blasting that into space. It's just like, that is so completed here. This is like mastering. You've mastered illusion. It really does feel like getting through room 1408. Interesting. It is getting through room 1408. And it's like, I don't want to call Stephen King evil. I don't think he is. I think he has like a profound mind. But like to be in that mind, that's almost like what this energy is. And working through it, breaking everything down within yourself. The way he gets out of that room is pretty profound. Six of Swords, Six of Pentacles. I wouldn't at this, recommend doing. I'm not going to tell you everything in case you want to go and watch it. I want to root for you. Does he get out of the room though? I don't know. Dead or alive, honey. So, Six of Swords, Six of Pentacles. The Three of Wands, the Four of Wands, and the Queen of Cups. This is definitely walking onto the other side of the dark, dismal tunnel of the Devil. I love that you have 18 and 37, a 9 and a 10. And then the 10 can break down into just a 1, like a new beginning, the rebirth, right? After. It's very scorpionic. Maybe we're going to be picking up on things that have kind of like happened collectively to people that are sort of run by particular energies of the zodiac after this eclipse. It's really a deep feeling here, but it's a beautiful outcome from a dismal, dark beginning. The Magician, very powerful, very, very powerful. This whole reading was really powerful, Aquarius. And I kind of feel like you're stepping into a new cycle with Death and the Magician, Death and Magic. Wow, talk about that. You have Magic and Magician. I think what I'm going to do for the extended, whatever ends up being the underline in these readings is the goddess that's going to talk to us in the extended. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. My friends, my Aquarians, there you go. That was a really deep reading. And it started that way, like, before I even started talking, where it was like, all of a sudden I was transported underwater, like as a teenager, and hearing my breath through a snorkel. So I kind of feel like I went into those depths for you. And now coming out. Where are you going is really nice, Aquarius. Very nice energy. I'm going to go do the extendeds and see what Morrigan wants to talk to you about. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.